Howard Hannum, Hannum, from Trout Creek. And like Bill, I've been to 3 or 4 of these things. And my first complaint with the DEC is that we need to go back to 5 minutes. 3 minutes is not enough. But due to the low turnout, you get to hear the remainder of my speech that I never get to give because I'm always out of time. So here we go. Listen, sit back and listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. Barium, benzene, arsenic, acetone, strontium, diethylbenzene, hydrochloric acid, chloride, methane. A study out of Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania found 829,853 pounds of total dissolved solids dumped into the Monongahela River just outside of Pittsburgh. 15,057 pounds of barium, 16,809 pounds of strontium, and a whopping 489,827 pounds of chloride dumped into the Monongahela River each day. The gas company blamed it on a nearby industrial park. There was no nearby industrial park. There was no industrial park within 30 miles and none near any tributaries. Methane migration has poisoned water supplies in Pennsylvania, Wyoming, and West Virginia. Methane migration is very real and very dangerous. It occurs usually during the flowback process when the drill bit punctures the aquifer. Adding another layer of cement well casing is not the answer. Another layer of cement well casing will not cure the problem. Has anybody in this room ever tried to pour a barn floor or a garage floor in December in New York? What happens? By mid-July, it's cracked. Stress cracks occur in concrete when it's not settled properly. Why would it be different in a well? That's all I have, but I still have time. In May of 2009, down in Cato Parish, Louisiana, a farmer awoke on a Monday morning to a loud moan. This loud moan was heard up to 3/4 of a mile away. The sound the farmer heard were 19 of his finest cows, moaning in excruciating pain, living out the final 45 minutes of their lives. The farmer's farm was being fracked. On Saturday, there was nobody manning the pumps. Everybody was gone for the entire weekend. It started leaking on Saturday afternoon. By Monday morning, you can imagine what happened. The fracking fluid killed all vegetation within 40 yards, seeped into the farmer's pond, up to the other side, and started working toward his grazing pasture. And now I'm out of time again. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Annmarie Garty. That's G-A-R-T-I. I'm ad-libbing, so forgive me. I think that there's, I'm going to talk about one subset of the documents and the plan, which is, I think is a major hole in the document, enough to kill the entire process. Unfortunately, it's not just one hole, it's tens of thousands of holes, hundreds of thousands of holes. And what I'm talking about are the pipes that are going to be placed from the surface down a mile or more into the shales, the tight shales that hold the methane. Now, I take a very literal view of this drilling. So when the gas drillers come, or their representatives, to meetings, like Tom West came to the New York City Bar Association, he brings sections of pipes along with him. And when they come to the meetings in New York City, they bring sections of pipes with them, and then they sit on them and they say, how can the methane get through these pipes? You know, saying that everybody's stupid to be concerned about this. But what the industry is doing is they're going to be placing multiple layers of steel pipes from the surface all the way down to where the methane is now currently trapped, where it belongs. And once they put those pipes down there, they are in effect creating vents or chimneys from those locations for the methane to migrate to the surface of the Earth. And as other people have just recently pointed out, methane is 25 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. And we can ill afford to have that methane being vented to the atmosphere directly as a result of gas drilling. And that is the biggest problem that is going to happen as a result of this drilling over the long term. Perhaps the DEC can ensure that the cement is properly cased for a few minutes or a few hours or a few days or a few years. Maybe they can even make them plug them or replug them a few times. But will this DEC even exist in 100 years or in 200 years or in 500 years? Or how about 1,000 years? How are they going to guarantee that the civilizations that come after us are going to plug these pipes to make sure that the methane doesn't continue to keep venting into the atmosphere? And that is going to heat up the Earth's surface like nothing has ever happened before. And if you want to end the Earth as we know it, you will drill these holes, because it will ensure the end of the life as we know it. And the DEC cannot mitigate that fact.
Despite the presence of this laptop, I don't actually have prepared notes, so you're going to have to bear with me. So many people have commented on the fact that this is such a flawed document. Well, no wonder it's a flawed document. It's a completely hypocritical document. It was written by people who understand that these processes are not able to be successfully regulated. It was written in many cases by the consultants who work for the industry, who hope to be imposing themselves upon us and upon our landscape, upon our air and upon our water. It is a fundamentally hypocritical document. In 1969, a book was published. It was written by a personal hero of mine, Robert H. Boyle. It's called The Hudson River. And in it, as a passionate advocate for the Hudson River, he details what he called the bureaucratic indifference that he says was the order of the day. There were laws in place. There were all kinds of regulatory agencies in place to protect the Hudson River, but nobody was doing it. And the reason is that money talks. When you let an industry like this into your community, it becomes the de facto government. It makes the rules. Here's a quote from the book. He was interviewing a bureaucrat, and he said, "Why," I asked, "did not, in this case the Corps, Army Corps of Engineers, enforce the law? Why weren't the responsible officials, or any other illegal polluters for that matter, cited, charged, tried in court, fined, and sentenced?" The bureaucrat replied, "We're dealing with top officials in industry, and you just don't go around treating those people like that." Well, how are we supposed to allow into our neighborhoods, our backyards, our fields, our mountains, an industry that is unprosecutable because it's running all of the what's going on behind the scenes? You know, this morning, EPA was about to deliver water to Dimmock. A few minutes later this morning, somebody's pulled the plug. EPA is not delivering water to Dimmock. That's because this industry pulls the strings wherever it goes. The only way to not have it run New York State is to not let it in the first place. We have to ban it. There is no alternative. And let's take it a step further. There isn't one aspect about this process that isn't a criminal offense. So as other people have said, criminalize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Bridget D, BRIGITTE, I want to thank all the previous speakers that I have heard. I have followed with interest all the details. However, all the time I kept thinking, document, no document, fault in the document, non-enforcement, all of that is really secondary. I have 2 grandsons. One of them is 2 years old, the other one is 3 years old. I would very much like them to be able to drink water and breathe air when they are 20 years old. As a matter of fact, I would very, very much like that. I don't think any savings in gas, however regulated, however enforced, can possibly make up for the fact that my grandsons will not be able to drink water and breathe air when they're 20 and 30 and 40 years old. I would also like to state that although Mr. Cuomo is not part of the 99%, I am part of the 99%. I am also an individual that has a right to speak, but if I slander somebody or libel somebody, I can be prosecuted personally, either with civil penalties or with jail time. Corporations can libel, can slander, can lie, and can claim the right to free speech. However, I have not yet seen a corporation in jail. That includes BP, who was so sure that deep-sea drilling was perfectly fine until they found out that even their most touted safety measures couldn't possibly contain, and they knew that before they started drilling. So did all the agencies that were supposed to regulate and prosecute and look out for us. As the fishermen in Louisiana, as the people that have suffered in the tourist industry, how their lives have been affected. And then see how our lives here will be affected, trusting the promises of corporations and of regulatory agencies. I want my grandsons to breathe and to drink. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Helen White, W-H-I-T-E. My family has a home in the village of Hancock, Delaware County. Please do not accept the SGEIS. Most recently, I received a report on the quality of our water. It's actually at 69th percentile right now. And there's a couple of different, the radium level 228 and radium level 226 is already above the health guidelines for organ systems toxicity. Not acceptable. Not acceptable to even think about this proposal of further potential contamination of our water. I say my home is Hancock, New York, but actually my home and your home is Earth, and we don't have another one to go to. This is it. This is all we have. There's no place else, so please, please don't accept this.
Thank you.